Hey everyone, Tropical Mix here. I'm Brett. I am joined by the lovely Nathan Wig
That's me. I was gonna do the Mario thing, but that's overdone. So that's me. I'm Nathan.
and the fabulous Gabe Hewitt.
That's me.
God damn it.
I'll take it from you.
Uh, this is the Tropical Cast. Today marks episode 8. Today we're going to be talking about video game movies and TV shows. But just to get this started, how you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, did some grocery shopping today, some yard work, very boring adult things, but had to get them done.
Kind of cold for yard work still, isn't it?
It was, yeah.
It's a lot nicer when you have wireless headbuds doing any kind of chores. It
Yes.
just feels a little more palatable.
That's purpose. You can listen to like a podcast, music. Yeah, makes things more fun, exciting.
Nate, how you doing?
I am good. Hey, we're the chore cast as well. So I clean my kitchen and my kitchen. I sound a little possessive. I clean, well, first our kitchen, and then did some laundry. You know, that sweet spot of time before everybody and their mother remembers that their favorite pair of pants just is not going to cut it for another few days and have to rush to the washer and dryer machines down the way. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. But I've also been up to Witcher 3, which we'll maybe touch on in a little bit.
I have to ask. So this basket behind you, I know it's had some things rotate in it, and I kind of hope it becomes kind of a thing where we.
It's a green screen.
Oh, okay, of course.
Yes,
Nice.
It's not a green screen at all, but I can certainly rotate different snacks and items out there as part of the backdrop to my screen.
It's a good opportunity for sponsors, I think. Like sponsored by Ritz.
Crunch with us. No, well,
Chips
crackers don't crunch, do they? They kind
They
of
can, if they're stale.
True. How are you, Brett? What's going on in your world?
You know, just trying to go one day at a time. It's been a stressful week, so just trying to use my free time, play some games, get that going. Still making my way through the lands between, and I just keep discovering new shit. Like I've gone back to like 3 different areas and found like multiple paths I didn't take the first time. So yeah, just a game that keeps on giving. All right, but get to the topic at hand. First off, I want to ask both of you guys. I'll start with you, Nathan. Has there been any video game related show or movie that you've seen that you actually think was done well? Because they typically, a lot of the video game movies have been less than stellar up to this point, but you're kind of seeing a shift in that industry where you're starting to see more and more of those projects. So I'm just wondering if there's anything you've seen that you enjoyed.
not strictly a movie or a TV show.
Either or, yeah.
Well, I guess to stay on topic, probably The Witcher. I think it has 2 seasons thus far, and I think the first season in particular is a great entry point for anybody who doesn't have much information about the lore of the universe of those games or those books, for that matter. And I think season 2 continues that trend, but I think it did disappoint quite a few of the book readers in some ways. But I don't think it would be enough to derail the series from, or to make it another one of those movie, silver screen or Netflix screen adaptations that are just not to the quality that we've seen in the video game source material.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Gabe?
I've got a few things fresh in my mind. The first thing I think of, you guys might hate me for it, but I did go see Uncharted without you guys, and I had a really nice time with it. There was enough callbacks to the games, mixed with just standard like blockbuster movie stuff that worked well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess before that, Arcane was pretty good. I never played League of Legends, but it felt like a good like standalone thing, even if it wasn't related. Like if I didn't know about League, I would just think that this is a cool, interesting show with interesting storylines and A plots, B plots, great music, soundtrack, good acting, voice acting, amazing like animation style. You could tell that they put a lot of money into that. It was backed by a lot of money and support. But then I think the one that sticks out to me is the first Sonic movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like Uncharted, there was enough like references to the movie, but also still making it like a kids movie essentially. This made it fun. I feel like those movies, especially with like Sonic or Uncharted, where they're kind of known for being lighthearted, they work well if the movie has that same tone.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a show like The Last of Us or something more serious, I think it's harder to to mirror those tones that the game also had.
Yeah, Sonic, probably my favorite video game adaptation brought to the big screen. Not talking about the original Sonic design, but everything else was great. Like you said, there were plenty of callbacks. I think they nailed like the main cast. Like Jim Carrey was great. What's the guy who voiced Sonic? Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz was a great design or great choice, and then just it was really good. And second one comes out in like a week, 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So I'm definitely interested to go see that. Uncharted's on my to watch list. I'm probably gonna wait for the digital release and then I'll get to that. I do want to bring up, I do think before Sonic, I think Detective Pikachu was really good.
Yeah.
That also had a good cast. A lot of the designs were really scary seen in live action.
Yeah.
Did you see that one, Nate?
I did not.
No. It was weird, like seeing Pokemon in a real world, like setting, and like having a more mature story than what we're used to was really cool. But I have watched I'm in like midway through second season of Castlevania, and I know Colin watched it and he really liked it. And like honestly, I have had almost zero interest in Castlevania. But the show's done really well. The animation's good. The characters are good. The story's really good so far from where I'm at. So I don't know if they're planning a fourth season or if there already is, but that's definitely a good one.
Is it that same animation studio that's doing Cyberpunk or some other? Is it Tomb Raider?
I know. I don't know who did it. I just know Netflix produced it, but Frederator Studios. I've never heard of them before, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
Apparently they're doing
Okay.
like the new Fairly Odd Parents and stuff, so.
They did Chalk Zone. That's awesome. Adventure Time. I can think that's where I know them from.
So, yeah, no. I really like that one. I have not gotten the Cuphead or Arcane or The Witcher just because I don't have Netflix, but The Witcher is something I want to get to.
I'm gonna amend actually my Witcher entry now that I thought about it. Because technically the original source material is the books, and especially the first 2 seasons have nothing to do with what happens in the games. So I feel that's not a great entry in my opinion. But so in its place, it's also not really an adaptation that doesn't source itself from any one game, but Free Guy was something that was like it took a bunch of different tropes from video games and just mashed them together. Mm-hmm. I think it did it pretty well. Some of the attitudes and the mannerisms of gamers were all put in there, and I think it was a fun storyline to boot as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I don't know how much thinking you guys did about this, but I was trying, like, the last few days, I was trying to come up with, like, games that would make good movies or good shows, and I was struggling a bit, like, trying to think of something that would adapt very well, but, did you guys come up with anything?
I came up with a few, and I can start if that's cool.
Yeah.
So just imagine like your typical just action like summer blockbuster movie, with like all the tropes, and I think of Contra. Like, why hasn't there been a Contra movie? And this seems like the peak time when all the people.
Do they get anything from the store for those? I don't know.
Yeah, they seem like the peak point for Contra because the people that played Contra are probably old, like first played it are old by now. They got kids that are at least of age to go see a PG-13 movie. Mm-hmm. And this the way the way Contra is set up. I mean, it just makes sense. These two just hulking white guys go and infiltrate these places, and I don't know, but my casting: Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt. That movie would make at least $1 billion. I guarantee it with those two. And like the nostalgia factor too. I think that would attract people to that movie. And the bad guy is Ralph Fiennes. And he plays some Russian guy. Because I think a movie with a Russian guy as the bad guy would also make money.
I could see him as a Russian guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I have not played Contra. I haven't played any of them. I just, from what I know, is most of the newer games have been, to put it simply, ass.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you remember the one they announced during that E3 on the Nintendo, and it had like a panda?
It's like an FPS.
Yeah, or something like that. I just remember like seeing reaction clips of like old Contra fans being like, "What the fuck is this?" So could be interesting if they played it right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't played Contra, so I don't really know. But I mean, if they could make it like Arcane, where a bunch of people liked Arcane who've never touched League of Legends, so that'd be interesting. Would that be a movie or a TV show, in your opinion? Movie?
I think it'd work better as a movie.
Okay.
I think I think TV shows work better if you want to like flesh out characters more over time and build on lore in the world. I don't know if Contra has that much.
Keep going. Keep going.
And yeah, it's just you just like you throw two white guys with some guns and good guy versus bad guys. That seems to make money all the time. I feel like The Rock would also have to make a cameo of some kind in that movie. And that'd have to be a reference to the Konami code in some way.
I believe from an entry that I would like to see, or I could, maybe I'm not sure if I would like to see, but I think the puzzles, the pieces would fit well, is an HBO, an HBO Max premiere series of a Quantic Dream game. Like a Heavy Rain kind of, I think that the characters are there and the storyline is there for like a dark, gritty HBO premiere kind of quality of TV show. But I think that may be hard to pull off. I mean, now that even thinking about it further, is although they're games that are seen for their character development and the storylines, however, a lot of that is pushed by interactivity, which might be limited in a TV series. But at the same time, I think maybe there's some capacity there for Quantic Dream to kind of flex just some of the really cool the storylines in the worlds. The storyline from Heavy Rain, but then the kind of world building that we hear about in Detroit Becomes Human. So I think there's capacity there. Again, perhaps the lack of interactivity would hamper that a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if they could like do a deal with like Netflix with kind of like how they did Black Mirror for that one episode.
Oh, sure.
Bandersnatch. Bandersnatch. Yeah. That could be cool. Where you just use your remote to make those choices. And
sure.
It sounds like it'd be a pain to film though all those different outcomes.
Yeah.
But if they have the money, they can do whatever. I hope that they don't do Detroit, because I don't know if that storyline has kind of aged well in that game.
Okay.
Because I know when it first came out, there was a lot of critiques on how it was alarmingly like similar to like the civil rights movement. How they're comparing like the androids to black people, and I don't know if that's in good taste.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't played it, but I think of what I've heard of perhaps would match with the TV show, or maybe not. Maybe they'd have to modify something so it's not problematic.
Heavy Rain could be awesome, like a noir kind of show. I think like a True Detective kind of show on HBO. That could be cool. Brad, do you have one?
Yeah, I got a few.
Okay.
First off, I know this is gonna make some people groan, but anime, Fire Emblem.
Heck yeah. Give it to me.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, I think Fire Emblem would work best in an anime style or, like a cartoon. I don't see being able to adapt that to, like, live action very well. But my thought was, and you could probably just get most of, like, if you want to do based off the game, like, stories, you could do, like, a season with, like, Marth, and his story. And then you could just get the voice actors who voiced him in Smash or the newer games or whatnot. But then, like, if they wanted to, they could do a new location and set of characters every season. So do Marth one season, do Ellawood and Hector and Lynn another. Do Crom and Robin another one. So yeah, I don't know. That was the first one I came up with.
What were the other ones that you had?
Just based off how well Game of Thrones did and The Witcher's doing, I think an Elder Scrolls TV show would be really good. And honestly, I've only played Skyrim and a little bit of Oblivion, but I feel like you could probably get 2-3 seasons out of like each game, depending on like what storylines and subplots you have them do. But they've shown that fantasy can work really well on TV, and yeah, and then if they want to, like, say they do Skyrim and it takes 3 seasons to wrap up, you could do a spin-off on Oblivion or Morrowind.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea. I would put it further to even say like have it not even have it be more of an anthology of kind of like those stories, those side quests. Like it could follow the same character or different characters, but I could see that as a TV show, like helping build out the world of whatever the country that they're in at that time. Because I think part of that was having a consistent world through different side quests and different content that you'd go through.
And then likewise, I think this is kind of cheating, but I feel like you could do this exact same thing for Fallout. With that, instead of the different games, it's the different regions or whatever. I didn't do any like casting for those, but
that sounds like a thing that's already being developed.
Well,
I'm not looking it up.
I think there was rumors of a Fallout show being developed for Amazon, I think. So I don't know, but I feel like you could get a few seasons out of each game or whatever. That way you're not condensing these 50, 60-hour games depending on how long you're taking down into one season.
Yeah. For these shows, like Sky or Elder Scrolls and Fallout, like what do you think they do for a main character?
Honestly, Skyrim, I think they, the basic Dragonborn costume.
I think I do, yeah.
I think what they would do is they would just make a basic Nord character, which was kind of like the main class in that game. Make a basic Nord and then maybe give them like 2 or 3 name companions that play the other styles. Is what I think they would do. I mean, honestly, or each season, like even if you keep it in the same show, you could just do a different main unnamed character that they give a name to. And then like in Fallout, like the main character is mostly wearing armor most of the game, so at that point it doesn't really matter who it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
okay. I've got one that I'm pretty excited about. Multiverses are pretty hot right now. Multiverses, crossovers.
Oh boy.
Picture this: Disney Plus, Kingdom Hearts cartoon. Hear me out. Each episode, not that much connected to the other ones, but it's just Sora, Donald, Goofy, going from like world to world, each Disney world, each Marvel world, Star Wars world. I think this would be the best place to kind of finally do that. Just expand upon that Disney stuff that's been in the games. And I think they'd have to keep it simple. They can't muck it up like the games with the storyline. To make it more appealing to the general audience. Just like a Monster of the Week kind of show. 40 minutes in length. I think that could be super cool.
With the animated, probably, like cartoon. Or were you thinking live
Yeah,
action?
I think 2D animation. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they could. I think in so much style as like What If, they could get a lot of the original actors to reprise their roles.
Mm-hmm.
Should be very cool. But I feel like you'd have to have like an overarching story for everything to connect, or else people who've never played the games would be like, "Why are Donald and Goofy with this spiky haired guy? Like, what's the point?"
And then, would you have Final Fantasy characters in it, or?
Oh, I think there would be like nods to them, but not like you wouldn't see Cloud as like a main side character. You just see like I don't know, like a reference in some document or like his sword would be in the background of a shot or something.
I would watch that. Did
I think there have been rumors that a show was being developed, but I don't know if it's true.
Well, you saw that thing I tagged you in on Twitter about like one of the animators like stuck Sora's Keyblade in there.
Yeah, that was cool.
So, I think like 5-10 years ago that would have been like impossible, just trying to get Disney on board with that. But I think with the success of Sora and Smash and like the fact that you can pretty much play Kingdom Hearts just about anywhere now, I could see that happening.
Maybe Sora and Mickey and Donald and Goofy, they meet with Doctor Strange and he transports them to all these worlds.
Yeah, dude.
I'd watch that. Nate.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Do you have another one, Nate?
Shoot, I just had it in my head. I had it, but it slipped away. So we can walk away from this topic.
Okay. I got one.
So long, bye.
I've got one, and I actually like did casting for this one. So this is a movie, and it's been rumored to have been in the works, I think, for like 12 years at this point. Gears of War. I think this would work best as a movie just because I haven't watched it yet, but hearing like the feedback for the Halo show and the like CGI and stuff for it, I think this would work better as a movie. Gabe, you played Gears of War, right?
I've played bits of it. Yeah.
Okay. So I think what they would do is start off like do a basic run through of the first game, like the story for that game, and then if it does well, you can do 2 and 3, whatnot. Okay, but the biggest thing are the over-exaggerated bodies of these characters.
I can know where you're going with this.
So
please continue.
So I do think like the people playing these characters need to be not jacked, I should say, but you know, like make them big, make them look bigger, and obviously with the armor they could do that. So okay, I'll ask you guys first. For Marcus, the main character, who would you guys cast?
Dwayne Johnson.
Okay. I've seen that out there.
I would see a real, like, it's not who I would cast, but I think the producers of this movie would cast Vin Diesel.
Oh, God. No, please. Oh, God, no. I'd rather not. I like Vin Diesel, but I'd rather... And, like, I know, like, Gears is, like, meatheads, but... I don't... The person I said was... And this is literally because he got a skin in Gears 5, and he's talked about wanting to play Marcus. Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Got that soul patch.
He does have the soul patch. I could definitely see him yelling and everything else that Marcus does. But I do think he would bring. I do think he could do the character justice. Okay, Dom. Marcus's like best friend. I was struggling to find someone who I think could play him very well. Do you guys have anyone in mind?
What he looks like.
Same.
Oh gosh. Okay. I might actually cast Dave Bautista in this role because I was gonna cast him as Marcus too, but I don't know if he's got the stuff to kind of be the leading man for a movie.
Okay.
Like, no offense to him, but I feel like The Rock kind of has that presence. Which he's been the lead in so many movies.
So you do Batista as Dom?
Yeah, with some hair plugs or something.
I may have to do the same. Same suggestion.
I didn't really go off looks for this one more so. I more so went off like personality and like the like emotion they could bring to it, because Dom is he's a lot more emotional in the games than Marcus is. Like, there's a big part in Gears 2 where it's about his wife, and then the big thing in Gears 3. I would do John Bernthal.
Oh yeah. Okay, I like that.
Like, I think they could. I mean, they could make him, with makeup and all that. I think they could make him look a little more like Dom. But I think he's definitely got the emotional range, and like just his character. I think he could bring that one really well. All right.
I know when The Rock announced that he was making like a video game movie, this was brought up a lot.
Yeah. I like The Rock, but I don't know. Wasn't he in that really bad Doom movie?
An hour later.
Later.
I'm not sure if he was.
All right.
Yeah, that was him in the movie.
Okay. Okay, Baird, your kind of snarky asshole character. I've got two for this. Because, like, one's like I think most people would land on. But I think Chris Evans could be a good choice for that pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could do the snarky part well, though. Like, I haven't seen him in a movie where he's been kind of like that snarky, cocky asshole that Baird is, so...
And Knives Out, he's kind of like that.
Okay. I haven't... Knives Out's been on my list to get to, but... You guys have any other options before I say the other one?
I haven't played the games, so I don't know like what his personality. Just going off his looks. I don't know.
I will say I just saw a picture of his older version in Gears 5, and I immediately saw Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I've seen that too. That's funny.
Yeah.
Who's that guy from Sons of Anarchy? Charlie Hunnam.
I gotta look that up.
He kind of looks like him. Hunnam.
I could kind of see that. My other pick was Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
he plays the snarky asshole a lot, so
he's so good at it.
he is. And they could easily just make him blonde, and then I think that would work. Coltrane is really loud and stylized, and my first pick for this was Terry Crews because he could do that, but I saw online that the guy who actually voiced Cole, his name's Lester Speet. I looked him up, and that dude could literally play Cole. He's huge.
What's his last name?
Speet, Speight.
Dang, okay, he's jacked. What? Wow.
So I think that would be the best choice they could go with, and it'd be a nice nod to the games because
that's super cool.
Okay, Anya, who she's just kind of. Do you remember what she did in the first game, Nate? Wasn't she just like the radio person, intel person?
You're on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that was her role, was to relay information to the player playable character.
I don't know. Every list I looked at for this casting, it was just some different blonde actress. I saw Scarlett Johansson on there a lot. I don't know. I went with Florence Pugh, but I don't really know if there'd be a better choice there. That one I struggled on a bit.
Charlize Theron?
See, and that was thrown around on there a lot. I think she could do it too. I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room in that one right there that they could do. This one I really struggled with. Hoffman, the older colonel guy. Because I was trying to think of older actors who are assholes and look like your typical American grandpa. It's kind of what Hoffman did. He looks very much like my dad's dad.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, okay. Clancy Brown.
Oh shit!
He's not like a big name person, but you gotta have some smaller people.
I'm trying to think. I thought Clancy Brown too, but I don't. I went with Robert De Niro. I mean, that's a left field pick, but I think he could do. Granted, I think all three. I think Clint Eastwood, Clancy Brown, and Robert De Niro would all be good choices. All right, Lieutenant in the first game, Kim. I kind of wanted someone with a more commanding presence, even though he's not in the game for a very long time. I went with Daniel Day Kim on that one.
Okay.
I actually think they could change it so Kim has hair. I think he would work better with hair, but...
And he's got great hair.
He does. And he's got a presence to him, too, so I think that would be a good choice. Okay. So I think for the villain, so I think they would do General Ron would be like your main villain, and then you get like a post-credit scene showing Mira, like the Locust Queen. So for Rom, I have actually got, this is kind of a cheating. Body wise, I think they should do Joe
Angelello?
Yes. I think for like body, and then I think Benedict would do a good voice over.
Okay.
That way you have like a big physical presence, which Rom is like huge in the game. And then, but Benedict's done some really good voice work, and I think he could have that voice about him.
I think this is where Dwayne Johnson comes in for me.
Oh, okay. As the voice or the?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm coming from what do I think a realistic producer would do. But then again, I mean, there's not many films where when Dwayne Johnson's in the film that he's the villain, except for Red Notice.
I don't think they'd put him in a costume. I don't think he'd want to be in a costume either, because like part of the appeal of like The Rock from like a movie studio standpoint is that like seeing him's gonna sell, like. I mean, in a costume, you're not really seeing him per se.
Sure.
And then I think he has something in his contracts where he can't die.
Wow.
I think. Because I was seeing something about that. Because someone was saying The Rock would make a good Kim. But people are like, well, Kim dies like an hour into the game. So, yeah.
I don't think this person would wear a costume based off what I'm seeing. I think they put some hulking, just like bodybuilder in like a mocap suit with the balls on it, and then this would be a whole like entirely CG character, voiced by Troy Baker.
Colin Farrell.
Nice.
Nate, I want to see if we're on the same wavelength here for Mira. Who would you cast?
Do my Google Images search. Mira. On the wall. Who's the
Hardest locust of all.
There's two ways they could go about this. Either Kate Blanchett or I think I'm struggling to remember what her character is though. It's the creator and leader of the Locust Horde. I feel like Kate Blanchett would probably be the pick.
That was my choice as well.
Shit. I'm gonna go back to Anya. Something about like I could totally visualize Zoe Saldana with like a military ponytail.
Totally, yeah.
That I'm gonna put my mark there. I would say Zoe Saldana there.
That would be a good choice too.
Saldana, yeah.
All right, and then I do think the last casting I did for this, and I think it would be best if you like show them all in a scene together in the first movie, but the three Carmine brothers. So Anthony, Benjamin, and Clayton. I think having all three of them in a scene would be best, and then Anthony is in the squad.
This would be a horrible typecast, but it would be a perfect typecast if whichever of those three gets the most brutal death, Paul Dano.
Awesome.
What about Paul Dano for one, and then who's the guy that dies all the time? Sean Bean.
Nice.
No. That's not what
It's
I
too
went
old. Too old.
with. That's not what I went with. Okay, so Anthony, which I think Anthony was the youngest one. It was Anthony or Ben. I can't remember. So my 3 castings were Will Poulter for Anthony. Ben Carmine, I said Liam Hemsworth. And then Clayton Carmine, just because... Gabe, look up a picture of Clayton really quick.
Clayton Carmine?
Yeah. I'm like, what would you say are the noticeable features of him?
Tattoos? Jacked?
Okay.
It's a Gears of War game.
So, like, the other 2 are, like, in full armor, and, like, they're kind of skinnier, and he's bigger. So,
Okay.
and, like, especially in 3, like, the only thing you see of him are, like, his arms and how ripped they are and whatnot. So my casting for that would be John Cena.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah.
Especially, like, you're not going to see his face, so...
Yeah. You just know his arms.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the other 2 are just...
That's good.
I think with all 3 of them, like, you're not going to see their face, so it's just kind of mannerisms and whatnot. And, like, I know Will got pretty beefy for, what was he? The Eternals, like, end credit scene. But I think him and Liam are, like, that good body size where they're not too big, but they're not too small either. But yeah, that's what I got.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like you thought about that one especially more than the others. That's cool.
Yeah, I just like... I don't know.
It's a really good blockbuster action movie, and I think a lot of the names that we mentioned have been in those summer action movies. Just imagining Marcus Phoenix saying something family.
God, no.
It would fit.
For family.
Yeah.
Revive me. For family.
Chainsaw for family.
Oh God, I'm just trying to imagine Chainsaw in that movie.
A lot of red goop.
I think they definitely have to go rated R with that, just because that series is gory as shit.
Yeah.
Or I remember one of the executions was you would take a sniper rifle and you'd, like, grab it and you'd smack him like a baseball bat. Dude, we need that Marcus Phoenix collection to come out so we can play it together. I don't know, yeah. Go ahead.
I had one more. Horizon Zero Dawn. And I think it would work well if it had the same vibe as Avatar. Not with the giant blue people, but just with, like, the way it looks visually. I'd love to see, like, the machines in that game look as good as, like, the creatures do in that movie. And I think it'd be awesome if, like, James Cameron could, like, get on board with that, or like Spielberg, or I don't know. I think I would cast Florence Pugh as Aloy.
I could definitely see that.
She'd wear a wig of some kind. And I feel like since it would be Florence Pugh in that role, I don't know if she's like. I feel like she's too big for TV currently right now. So it would be a movie with a lot of MacGuffins. Got to go do this to save the world. I think that could work for a movie. Lance Reddick is just cast as who he is in the game.
I'm gonna tell you all about Adam Sandler's newest project.
Oh God.
What? Okay.
Pitfall.
Stop. Go on.
Well, Adam Sandler likes to produce movies in a place where people take vacations, and Pitfall is the original one did not. It left quite a lot to the imagination as far as graphics and imagining what that world was like. But I could totally see that being a shitty ass adaptation that's put on Netflix, and it's Pitfall. I mean, I think people will. It's kind of got that meme. Like, you have people who've played the Atari 2600, and so there's a generation there, and there's people in our generation who have heard of it. And I think that just matches up with Adam Sandler. I think he also did the Pac-Man thing.
Yeah, Pixels.
Pixels, right? It just rings to me what. It's not one that I would want to see, but I feel like there's links out there.
Would Kevin James be in the movie somewhere?
Yeah.
And Rob Schneider?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, that's the formula. Now to get back to the formula.
It's a formula?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else that would work. Sonic 3.
I think we're getting a Sonic 3. I think it's already been confirmed, actually.
Has it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I keep thinking in my head whether a Zelda adaptation is possible. I don't know what that looks like. Whether it's a movie or a TV show, whether it's animated, whether it's live action.
I'm trying to think how you'd do live action. Danny DeVito is Link.
Okay. Go on.
I'm joking.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would best be as a cartoon. Not necessarily anime, but yeah, I don't know how that would work much. Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, same.
Well, Nate, anything before we go? Any updates?
Updates wise, yeah, I'm playing Witcher 3. Started that, and it's really it's a game that is it's testing me, like how I want to spend my time on it. Is it a game where I want to, on the map, make sure that all undiscovered locations are visible, and go that route of playing the open world game? Or is it a game where I'm pushing myself to turn those off, and that I'm just being and kind of forcing myself to go off the beaten path? So I'm working through that as part of the thought experiment. I'm 18 hours in, so I've gone through the initial short prologue, and then the second much longer prologue, and now I'm in the huge expanse of an open world game. And thus far it's been, yeah, I mean, this game has been talked about like crazy for the last 7 years, but it's truly a game where if you, as you're traveling, as you're exploring, you will see what kind of world it really is without having to hear it from an NPC. You're seeing like bodies hanging, like there's a hanging tree, like where you first get into the open world, and there's a sign where underneath this huge oak tree of naming all the names of these individuals who betrayed the folks who are invading and colonizing that area. So it's just an example to see like what the characters in that world think about, and you as a Witcher, I think part of the interest is trying to figure out your way through that world and trying to decide whether you want to do this side or that side, or trying to figure out what is the lesser evil in a lot of the storylines and the side quests. So it's definitely a game to take your time with. I'm a little bit the only frustrations I've had with are probably the UI and the inventory management. I think that's been pointed out as one of the gripes a lot of people have had. But besides that, even the combat, some people have expressed, that they've tolerated it it's the one thing that kicks them off the game. But for me, it's enjoyable enough. Part of the Witcher gameplay for me is the preparation. You have to, if you get a contract to take a certain monster down, you have to first learn about the monster. So you either buy a book or you talk to an NPC and you get the information that way, but then you also have to glean how else you can prepare, what kind of bombs to use, what kind of oils to use, what potion would help you. So there's a lot of thoughtfulness that the player has to employ to be successful. So, which makes the combat for me so fun, even if it's nothing like a From Software game where the combat has just got so many intricacies, but the combat has not derailed my interest for the game. So I think I'm gonna be stuck on this for a very long time.
Seems like
you've played the first two games, right?
Yes, I played Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. Yeah.
Is this game? Would you say it's better, or
yes?
Can't say that.
Oh yeah. Witcher 1 is a really dated game. Just to point out the example, the combat in Witcher 1, it's a rhythm system. So as Geralt strikes an enemy, you have to wait until the next visual sign, the next visual sign marker to tell you when to hit again. But it wasn't the worst part of that game, but I think by modern standards, like, that's just not going to fly. So that's kind of a mark against it. But then Witcher 2, I'll also say, Witcher 1 is a great game. It's a great storyline. It really it does the alchemy system and the preparation that I just mentioned. It does that very well, probably the best out of the three, which I liked a lot because you have to be thoughtful about how you approach your battles. But then Witcher 2, it has a fantastic story that the choices you make do affect. It gives consequences in the story later on. And then the combat's a little bit better, but it's much more linear. So exploration is it's much more dampened than the first one. And then the third one, it does a lot of things that the first two games don't do as well. It does them a lot better. Except for, I think, the preparation and the alchemy in Witcher 3 is so far lacking compared to what I've seen in 2 and 1.
Interesting.
Yeah. I started reading the books last year, and then once I finished the books, I started playing the games. I would advertise to you two, because you two are my friends. I want to I want to kind of highlight an opportunity for how you two could get into this, but I would recommend either, if you were interested in Witcher 3, just play it. I don't think all the preparation and all the work beforehand would be necessary, but it would benefit a lot if what you have heard or if what you have heard has made you want to play it, I think YouTube videos would probably get you by as far as lore, um, leading up to the games. I would recommend though, if you like fantasy book series and you're not sure about the time, honestly, thus far, I mean, I haven't talked about the books yet, but I would actually, at this point, think reading the book series is actually has been more worthy of my time than the 18 hours thus far I spent Witcher 3. So if you would want to get into the books, that's a great idea, but if not, certainly not necessary. Witcher 1, definitely not necessary. The story is pretty much self-contained. Witcher 2, I think, by modern standards, is still a good game.
I've played the first, I'd say, 10 hours of Witcher 3 on the Switch.
Switcher,
yeah. It wasn't that bad.
Did you, do you recall much? Like, do you remember at what point you got to? Did you fight the Griffin?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So not so memorable, right?
No, I think it was just too long ago, and I didn't play enough of it for stick.
Sure.
I remember doing a side quest for some like a witch, and like you ate dinner with her afterward, and she's like naked.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this? Does this?
Oh, you've
read books.
I think you might be describing the next main story quest I'm about to get into. Because I know I next have to find a witch. And she might have information about Ciri, who Geralt is trying to find. Maybe that was a side quest for you, but I would not. It's a game you should play on the best hardware you have, and that's either the Series X or the PS5 for you. So I would recommend for either of you to play it there.
I think they're coming out with like they're supposed to be coming out with a next gen patch sometime this year, so
right. So either wait until then, probably wait until then.
Yeah,
I think it's a game that does, in my opinion, it does behoove from having the visual fidelity at the highest quality it can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looked fuzzy on the Switch.
Sure.
Not sure if it dipped between good and like this is just what is happening with what's on screen.
This is what's everybody saying.
Just the fact that they got that running on a Switch, I think, is very impressive, and I think the devs have said they're not gonna do anything like that anymore because it was so stressful. But
yeah.
Gabe, any updates with you? What are you playing, buddy?
Horizon Forbidden West. I think that's going to be my Witcher game. I've probably put in 15 hours at least. I plan to put in a lot more. I'd like this time with my experience with open world games, I get pretty over the world by like 20-25 hours, and I just do the golden path to get to the end. But I don't think it'll be like this game because I like everything about the world and the combat and the designs of things. It just looks nice. It's fun to just like be on a mount, just riding around in these areas. Yeah, that's probably going to be my favorite game of the year this year. And then I've been playing Dark Deity, which is heavily inspired by Fire Emblem. I think in ways too much.
Yeah.
Where like you're thinking like, oh, this is just like Fire Emblem, and then you can't help but compare how it still lacks in that element, such as like the characters. Like there's like a bunch of characters you can recruit or not recruit. Still unsure if what I'm doing, if I'm but the characters so far I feel kind of hollow. Like they don't have much for they don't do much for me, and I feel like their introductions so far have been just like abrupt, like, "Hello, I'm new. We have a common interest. Let's fight together." It's like, okay. uh, the combat system, I don't know. I feel like I'm still learning it. I do like the animation styles and the different classes you can upgrade to. The story seems simple so far, which I like. There's a war. We need your help. Come fight. Okay, let's do it. Maybe it expands beyond that. I don't know. But like the whole time I've been playing, I've just been wishing that it was a Fire Emblem game made by Intelligent Systems or whoever.
Has there been opportunities for the playable character to interact with the other party members outside of a combat context?
Yeah. So like in Fire Emblem, there's support conversations is what they're called, which you can do between battles, between missions. And yeah, I felt like those conversations just, I don't know. I think voice acting would help this game a lot to help at least me like get a sense of who these characters are. But then I mean, like the games on like the Game Boy Advance, Fire Emblem didn't have much voice acting, but I still feel like the writing still like you understood the characters from the writing still.
Sure.
Yeah, there's some things I really like with it so far. Like, I like having, when you get a character and you, like, promote them, like, you have 4 options instead of, if your character is this class, they go to this class, and then if you want a different class, you have to use an item to get them into a different class, versus this game, it's like, pick however you want to play. Like, you can choose any one of these 4. And I haven't got any characters to level 30 yet, which is when you get the next promotion choice. I really like that aspect of the game, though. And then the weapon aspect I really like, too. Like, every character has, like, a heavy, a speed, a light, and, like, a more defensive, like, move that you can use. I think that's cool, and you can kind of upgrade how you want them to be. So like the main character Irving, I've literally just been upgrading like his like attack heavy thing, and he literally just one shots everything for me. Yeah, I agree about the voice acting. Like, the only voice acting in the game, I think, is when you critical, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And it would be nice because, like, some of these characters are really cool, but I feel like every chapter you're getting 1 or 2 characters each chapter, and it's like, well, I've only used these guys for 1 chapter, and now I don't know if they're going to be good or not. So, because, like, you just have too many characters, which, I don't know. What chapter are you on? You said 7?
I think 7, yeah. Okay.
I just finished, I think, 11. And a lot of what you think is what I think. I think it's a really good start, like, for a first game. But it's kind of got that PlayStation All-Stars thing where you're so inspired by what you're copying that when you do change stuff, I'm just like, it would have been better if you would have just did what that game did, so. But, I mean, I'm playing that in between Elden Ring, so I don't get sick of Elden Ring, so I think it's a good, I can kind of relax and go at my own pace on that, so. I do think, Nate, if you're looking for, like, a Fire Emblem-like experience, I think that's a good pick. And it's on Steam.
I I think before I get into that, I would probably pick up 3 houses and go through that based on what I'm hearing from you two.
That's a lot of lifting.
Yes, I'm. That's a statement of fact.
I'm sorry.
I'm lost for words.
Jeez.
GG. Well played, WP. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Honestly, I could probably just sneak you Cullen's 3 houses since he's doing literally nothing with it.
I don't want somebody else's 3 houses. I want to pick up my own. It's nice.
All right, well, guys, this has been fun. Nice.
This has been
again.
topical.
Why do you?
Yes.
We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, as we've said, and if you've been watching our videos, we are the TropicalCast. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.